Hey guys, how you doing? So, cool weather in New Jersey tonight, kind of. We haven't really had a lot of snow yet. We had a little bit of snow uh, the week before Halloween, which we never have snow in October, so it was kind of strange. But we had a little bit of snow tonight. I went up north to visit some friends, and it was perfectly clear most of the day. And as I was hanging out in their house watching a scary movie that I didn't really like, it was too scary for me. But, well, more creepy than anything. It started to snow. And I was really happy. I was like, oh, it's going to snow. Maybe I'll get the day off of work tomorrow. That'd be great. But no. On my way home, Garden State Parkway, turned to rain. I like rain a lot. One of my favorite weather conditions. However, it would have been fun to have some snow. It is January. Anyway, on to my book review. Logging in the girls' room. Okay. Uh, okay. This book, I read it a couple of years ago. It is a movie also. You've probably either seen or heard of the movie with Keira Knightley. It's called Atonement by Ian McEwan. I read it just before the movie came out. My friends read it and they said it was really good, and then they said, oh, a movie is coming out about that book and it was really good, so I decided to read it. And I really enjoyed it. I'm going to jump into the review now. um, basically, there's this 13-year-old girl named Bryony who is very imaginative. She writes plays. She's a good writer. She's very intelligent in some ways, in that sort of way. She's very creative. Problem is, her imagination gets carried away, and it leads to problems later on in the book. So she has an older sister named Cecilia, played by Keira Knightley in the movie, and she has an older brother named Leon. And they're much older. Cecilia is like, I want to say 20-ish. And she used to be friends with the neighbor named Robbie. And over the years, they just kind of drifted apart, and don't really hang out anymore. And I mean, it's the 30s also, so things, the 1930s, things were a little different. Guys and girls had different sorts of relationships. They could still be friends, but I think the two of them tended to run in different circles anyway. So anyway, they have a little moment, Cecilia and Robbie, which makes Robbie realize that he really likes Cecilia, and he would like to spend more time with her again. So he goes home and he writes a letter. And you know how when you're writing letters to someone and or email nowadays, and you don't really know how to say what you want to say, and you just get frustrated, so you just start writing whatever you want, and you know you're not going to send that copy, and eventually you just got to get that out of your system, and then you'll send the copy that you want to send. So he does that, and he says something really dirty in the letter that he writes, and he just kind of laughs it off and puts it to the side. And then he writes the actual letter, and he gives it to Bryony to deliver to Cecilia. So Bryony takes it. Robbie realizes after Bryony has taken it that it's the wrong letter, that it's the dirty one that he wrote, and Bryony reads it, and she shouldn't have. She's very nosy. And she's scandalized by what he wrote, and she thinks something is wrong with him, that he's some sort of a maniac, and she invents this whole persona for Robbie, and she's always liked Robbie. She's never had a problem with him, but she has this great imagination, and like I said, gets carried away. So she, as a playwright, decides to put on one of her plays, and her cousins are visiting. It's a girl and two boys. The girl's name is Lola. She's about Bryony's age. She might be about a year older, I'm not sure. So she wants the four of them, the three cousins and her, to put this play on for everybody later that evening because they're having some sort of a get-together. And, she lets Lola have the main part. She doesn't want to, but Lola kind of plays the guilt thing because Lola's had a rough time lately, and she's like, oh, it would be nice to have something good for myself. And she feels like this would make her feel good to be able to play the lead. So Bryony's like, all right, fine, you've had a rough time, but I'll let you play the lead. So later at this get-together, Leon's friend comes over. There's a lot of stuff going on. Robbie comes over at some point, and there is a moment between Robbie and Cecilia that changes everything, and you'll see if you read the book what I'm talking about. So at some point they're playing games outside, I think, Anyway, the two younger twin boys get misplaced. No one knows where they went. So everyone's out looking for them, and something, I'm not going to tell you what, but something bad happens to one of the characters. And Bryony sees it, but she can't really tell who's doing it. But because she's got this crazy imagination, she thinks a certain person has done this thing. And you could probably figure out who, but I won't tell you anyway in case you haven't figured it out. She thinks this person has done something very wrong, and it is a crime, and the police do come because they do find out that this happened, and somebody gets accused because, and Bryony tells them, she says, I, I saw this person do this, but did she really? That's the question. So as time goes on, they grow up, World War II starts, and Bryony is some sort of a nurse in training, I want to say. And she's dealing with these wounded men, and it's very heartbreaking. And she kind of realizes that her imagination got carried away with her when she was younger, and that she did somebody a terrible wrong as a child. And now there's no way for her to make up for it. So she tries to find a way to make up for it, and it's very interesting what she does. And you'll see if you read the book, it's not maybe exactly what you think it is. Even as you're reading what you think it is, it's not. I know that doesn't make sense, but if you read the book, it will make sense. So it's full of mystery. It's got romance. It's got a little bit of gore because you get to see these, or you hear about anyway. It's a book. These wounded men and what's wrong with them, and it's kind of heartbreaking. But it's a good book, I think, for both guys and girls. Like I said, because it has all of those elements. I think men would like it, women would like it. Very good. I like the themes in it. It's got themes of forgiveness and making up for the wrongs you've done in the past. Like, there's always a way to make up for what you've done, even though you may not be able to see it. There's also a good lesson in jumping to conclusions. So it's a very good book. Go pick it up. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will talk to you later.